An equation is a mathematical statement that asserts the equality of two expressions. A variable is usually involved, but not strictly necessary. 2 plus 5 equals 7 is an equation. Here are the two expressions. But we'll limit our discussion to equations where at least one of the expressions has at least one variable. For example, 2x equals 6 is an equation with a variable x. Solving an equation means finding the values for the variables that make the equation true. The solution to 2x equals 6 is x equals 3, because 2 times 3 is 6. Some equations, like this one, are true only for certain variable values, and some equations are true no matter what value is assigned to the variables. A squared minus b squared equals a plus b times a minus b is true no matter what values you choose for a and b. Equations that are always true are called identities. Identities have a special symbol, like an equal sign with 3 bars instead of 2. When we read these statements out loud, the triple bar is read as equivalent to, is identical to, or, informally, is always. In actual practice, the triple bar symbol isn't used all that often, maybe when introducing an identity for the first time, or when proving an identity, we might use the symbol to emphasize that we recognize the equation as an identity. For the sake of simplicity and brevity, I'll usually, but not always, just use an equal sign in these videos. The first trigonometric identities we'll cover are called the reciprocal identities, and we've already seen them in TR-14. Here's the bridge diagram from that video showing the reciprocal relationships. To keep things simple, we'll include only the function names without an angle variable like theta. Cotangent equals 1 over tangent, our first identity. This is how we defined what the cotangent was back in TR-14. And right away, we have the opportunity to point out that identities are true only when both expressions are defined. This is always the case, not just for the identities we're covering here. It usually applies to identities involving fractions. We can't have fractions with 0 in the denominator, so what happens when the tangent is 0? The cotangent is undefined. Identities are true as long as both expressions are defined. The next identity is secant equals 1 over cosine. Always true, at least when cosine is not 0. And the third and last reciprocal identity is cosecant equals 1 over sine. Each of these three identities has an equivalent identity by taking the reciprocal of both sides. Tangent equals 1 over cotangent, cosine equals 1 over secant, and sine equals 1 over cosecant. Identities are used when solving or manipulating equations. Anytime we have an expression that's part of an identity, we can substitute the other expression. This sometimes makes equations easier to solve. We'll cover many more trig identities in future videos. There are a lot. So it's become standard practice in trig courses for students to be able to recognize and manipulate them to prove a proposed identity is true. For example, you may be asked to prove that cosecant theta times sine theta equals 1. Where to start? This kind of problem is going to be so common in your class, let's spend a minute discussing how to format your response. The left-hand side of the equation is called the left-hand side, or LHS. The right-hand side is RHS. The proper way to prove the equality is to manipulate either the left-hand side or the right-hand side until its expression is the same as the other side. Usually, the more complicated-looking side is simplified, using algebraic manipulations and/or trig identity substitutions, step by step, in a logical order. Here's how to format your proof. It's a standard 2-column format you probably did in geometry. We'll have statements and reasons. Start with the more complicated side you intend to simplify, and rewrite it clearly as being equal to left-hand side or right-hand side, whichever it is. Every step needs a reason, and the first one can be given because it's information we're given in the problem statement. Then we'll make step-by-step transformations with reasons until we have the expression on the other side. In this case, we have an identity involving cosecant. Cosecant equals 1 over sine. So let's substitute that in the next line of our proof. There's no guarantee this will work. A lot of times these problems are trial and error until you find something that works. We'll go over some helpful techniques in future videos, but for now we only know the reciprocal identities, so we'll use one. We have 1 over sine theta times sine theta equals 1. Well, we can see success on the horizon, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. Every step of our proof needs a reason. How did we get from line 1 to line 2? We applied the reciprocal identity for cosecant. An explanation like identity of cosecant should allow a reader or your instructor to follow your logic. The next step can just be 1 because the product of reciprocals is 1. And that can be your explanation, multiplying reciprocals. There's no firm rule on what the reason column needs. Just explain what you did so someone can follow along easily. It's customary to show that you know you're finished by adding equal to the other side, in this case equals RHS. And we've shown, as asked, that left-hand side equals right-hand side. And we've shown the steps in logical order. You might need to brush up on your algebra skills, because some steps will require trig identity substitutions, but others will be algebraic manipulations. We'll be able to solve more interesting and challenging proofs as we learn more trig identities in future videos. In TR-32X, I'll ask you to state all the reciprocal trig identities. There are 3 reciprocal identities, but each one can be expressed 2 ways. For example, cosecant equals 1 over sine, and sine equals 1 over cosecant. They're both the same identity. And we'll work through another simple proof. In TR-33, we'll cover the Pythagorean trig identities.